Canada is a very extremely interesting place right now, but mostly for all of the wrong reasons. Crime is rampant. Cops are saying that criminals and their privacy should remain privileged, which doesn't make any sense. The fires that blasted through our national park, turns out that national park is now back open, which is quite interesting. And then you have social media is directly responsible for what seems like immigrants or newcomers to Canada being arrested for making videos, which shows that they don't have the proper firearm safety and likely are not using legal guns here in Canada. We have a lot of news to cover in this video, so I encourage you guys to stick around for the full thing. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage everyone to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It does really help grow the channel. And if you would like to get yourself a matching sticker like the one here on my microphone or any of the ones here on my coffee cup, personally, my favorite is the penetrated one right there. You can find the link for that down in the description or the pinned comment below. Now, let's get into this crazy news cycle here in Canada. We're going to start off with the polls like we normally do. Conservatives are sitting still very good at 212 projected seats. Liberals down at 73. These polls are going to update over this weekend, which is going to be very interesting to see how far down Justin Trudeau goes. I really don't think there's any reason to believe that he will go up in the polls. And then when you look at odds of winning the most seats and odds of a majority government, Conservatives still in a massive lead with 99% likely across the board. So everything is looking good there. But what isn't looking so good, just as I began to hit record for this video, there's been an insane development here in the world. You have the Iranian state TV says, in the coming hours, the world will witness extraordinary scenes and very important developments. This is all coming to light after what has happened with the assassinations of Iran's figureheads, right? And Hamas leaders and things like that. Very scary. And I'd like to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Is this threat real or is it just Fugazi? Let me know what you guys think. Iran just raised the red flag of revenge on the dome of Jamkaran Mosque. War is coming, which is what that signifies. And that, of course, is in light of all of the bombings that have been happening and the assassinations of, the leaders of Hamas and Iran, which, what's the worst that can happen? Nuclear warfare? Yeah, probably. It just seems to be more and more likely that that's going to happen. But I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Very recently, the Conservative leader of Canada, the Conservative leader of the opposition, Pierre Poilievre, said this: sign here to have a prime minister who doesn't admire basic communist dictatorship. And it is a photo of how to do communism. Establish a new communist utopia. Robert Kill is successful. Force the rest to work for free. Run out of food. Starve to death. Say it wasn't real communism and cycle it through. Well, Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, has replied to this, saying, I think this guy needs to touch grass. And that has gone parabolically viral. Almost 2 million views in 24 hours. And the comments are hilarious. I personally said, go back to touching sand in Cuba. Keenan Beck says, I think you need to look at your polling numbers, and the comments are absolutely hilarious. Let me know if you've actually seen that and if you left a comment down below. The Liberal government, in other news, is claiming that they are the only ones that provide the truth. Right here, Anita Anand says people now question the truth, and the only ones that provide it properly and efficiently, and the only ones you can trust are them, the Liberal government of Canada.
And in yesteryear, what was understood to be the truth was more objective. We are now in an era where people debate what is true. And in order to be in the realm of discussing the truth, we need to ensure that the work that we are doing in whatever portfolio is actually disseminated in an honest and clear way so that Canadians can understand what their taxpayer dollars are paying for.
Right. I think that when it comes to taxpayers' money, I think it would be awesome if there was a little bit more transparency. And I think everyone's banking on the Conservative government when Pierre does inevitably win the next election, that we're going to have some sort of sheet that has a details of where our tax money is going. 30% here, 20% there, 5% there, and so on and so forth. Let me know if that would be pretty interesting, if you would like to see something like that. Next up, we have this clip of Justin Trudeau that's making its rounds. Trudeau is bringing in more immigrants to take pressure off the immigration system. Yep, you heard him right.
A lot of pressures on our system. Increasing the immigration levels, interestingly, will take some of the pressure off of the system because the stream on bringing in permanent residents has got room to bring in more, and it's when people come as refugees and try to flip or get refugee crisis status that it sort of a lot of.
Right. So Justin Trudeau's plan is he wants, if I'm not mistaken, 100 million Canadians by the year 2100, which is, if I'm not mistaken, over 1 million new people to our population every single year. That is not sustainable. It hasn't been sustainable. And there's actually a video that breaks down where all the newcomers, or the percentage of newcomers, are coming from. This is a very cool video here. You're going to see the graph move in real time. And so it starts off in the year 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008. You can see China and India are pretty tied up until about 2010. And then India flips China. And then all of a sudden there seems to be a massive amount of Indians that come to Canada, and in about 2017, 2020, you see that gap widen even more. And the second biggest population of new citizens by country of birth in Canada is the Philippines. And then after the coup you see in 2020, it really widens the gap. So there's over 500,000 Indians by country of birth that are new Canadians, citizens of Canada, and about 400,000 people from the Philippines, just under 300,000 from China, just under 200,000 from Pakistan, just over 100,000 from Iran, under 100,000 from the UK and from the United States, and so on and so forth. And it seems kind of crazy because even down here you see Russia is on the map and Ukraine, which is crazy because I thought we had all these bans on Russia, for crying out loud. They even took Russian vodka off the shelves of the LCBO, the liquor stores in Ontario, when the Russia and Ukraine war broke out a couple of years ago. So very interesting. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Are you pro this level of immigration, or are you against it? Let me know why. Next up, we have Jagmeet Singh, who's back in the news, going after grocery store CEOs. That's his primary concern.
We're worried about more and more what we're seeing across this country. Our tenants, like the ones at 435 Nelson, are living in their homes, are getting by. They're worried that the cost of rent might go up, but they're getting by. And then they get a notice that they're going to get rent evicted, where the landlord kicks them out of their home, using the excuse of renovation, and then they jack up the rent and they can never move back in and they have nowhere to go. And when it comes to rents, we know rents have gone up. Over the past 9 years with Justin Trudeau, he promised to bring down rent prices. But have they come down? No, they went up. It's more expensive than ever to pay rent. It's more expensive than ever to find a home. And so we've got a message today. I want to send a message to all municipalities. If a municipality receives federal money, we also want to guarantee that they are going to put in place laws that protect tenants. And one of those laws that we want to see is a bylaw at a municipal level, a law to protect tenants from being rent evicted. We want to ban rent evictions across this country. I also want to be clear, while Justin Trudeau has failed you, has failed to address this problem, failed to fix this, has let corporate landlords rip you off, has let rent evictions continue, Pierre Poilievre would be even worse. Pierre Poilievre wants to throw fuel on the fire of corporate greed. His corporate buddies want him to get rid of all the rules and protections so that big corporations can rip you off even more.
Okay, that guy is a cockroach. He's a stain in Canada. He goes around and puffs his chest up saying, Pierre Poilievre this, Pierre Poilievre that, while he goes after, apparently, grocery store CEOs to fight the good fight for your everyday Canadian, because rich people, people that have run businesses and become extremely successful independently without any government interference, the government, or members of the government, are going, you are the reason to blame for high cost of everything in this world, which is absolutely insane. Has nothing to do, apparently, according to Jagmeet Singh, high cost of living, high cost of groceries, high cost of fuel, food, goods, everything has nothing to do with government mismanagement, government incompetence. It has to do primarily because of grocery store CEOs. That's really the message that he's putting out there. And it just doesn't make any sense, Jagmeet. For crying out loud, you have a $25,000 Rolex on your wrist at any given moment of the day. Like, you are going around, his net worth is in the millions. It doesn't even make any sense. He makes a lot of money, but not for his net worth to be worth millions of dollars. It just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, sure, grocery store CEOs are the absolute worst. Let me know if you guys agree with Jagmeet Singh down below in the comments. Enough about Jagmeet Singh. Honest to God, he really makes my stomach turn and makes me extremely sick. Now we're going to move on to other Canadian news here, such as the road in Jasper National Park is now open. Let's take a look at what CTV has to say.
Limited traffic has started flowing through the Jasper National Park gates again. Commercial trucks are now allowed on Highway 16. And
that's part of what the park looks like. Oh my goodness. That is horrible. That's going to take years and years to fix.
Some seniors stuck in BC will soon be back in Alberta. The large commercial trucks can only pass RCMP roadblocks during certain times of the day. The route through Jasper National Park will soon see a different type of traffic. Many of Jasper's seniors have been stuck in BC since the evacuation, and they'll return to Alberta tomorrow.
But most of our seniors had to evacuate through Valmont into the BC side when that evacuation was taking place. And so we've been working very closely to stay in contact with all of them. Many of them would be at different levels of healthcare needs. And so it was a high priority, I know, for all of us to be able to make sure that they were safe.
Buses are being arranged for Jasperites to visit their communities soon for a first-hand look at the damage and their properties. We'll have more on this story later in the hour.
All around, it's just extremely sad and devastating what has happened, but kudos to all the brave men and women that have put their life on the line to fight the good fight and go after these fires. Speaking of fighting the good fight, we're talking now about something that's extremely controversial. So Porch Pirates is becoming an increasingly larger problem here in Canada. For those that don't know what that is, when you order a package, right, when you get mail delivered to your house, like through Amazon, right? If you're not home, or if you are home and you don't hear the person, they ring your doorbell, you don't answer, they put the package on your doorstep, they take a photo, okay, that proof that it's been delivered, and then they move on with their day. A porch pirate, for those that don't know, is someone that watches this unfold either through an inside knowledge of what that package is going to be, or just the fact that there is a package and they want something for free. So they park outside of the house, they see the delivery man or woman come and go, and then once that person is left, they quickly run to the porch and grab the package like a pirate, take off with said goods, right? So this is where it becomes really, really weird, because it's becoming more and more of an issue here in Canada, specifically in BC. And we're going to get into why it's becoming an issue in a moment.
Another case of package theft by porch pirates caught on camera has prompted an RCMP investigation. As CTV's Ben Milja reports, a Surrey family now questions their safety in their own home.
Well, the thing is, this has been in place since 2016 when we built the house.
When Nagarath Nambala built his Surrey home, he had a security system installed, including perimeter cameras. Tuesday evening, a delivery driver left this package on his porch. When it disappeared, the family checked the CCTV.
Guy in the red shirt just walks from across the street.
Not 2 minutes after the driver dropped the package, this man walked in through the front gate, nonchalantly strolled over to the front porch and picked it up. He even looked in the mailbox, but found that empty.
And we could see him also in the camera itself. Before coming to our place, he went to the opposite house as well, and close by house as well. So that's been happening. It's very, very sad.
Bala reported.
It is very sad, and it begs a question. is this going to change how mail is delivered? Are people going to have some form of like a kennel that's behind a lock and key that has a one-way passage where you can put stuff in, but you can't take stuff out unless there's a key? Or going back to the old ways of having a mail slot in your actual door where you can have letter mail at least safely put into the front of your house? So the reason why this is becoming more and more controversial is this is what happened in BC. And as you saw, the person's face wasn't blurred. You saw it happen. Now, you can't see their face because they're wearing a bunch of stuff, glasses, a hoodie, which it's summertime in Canada. There's no need to be wearing a hoodie, all those things, right, to protect their identity. Now, this is what the Toronto or the Ontario police have said about porch pirates in Ontario. This is why it's so controversial.
A warning about porch pirates in Canada is getting a lot of attention, but not for what you might think. Police in Quebec issued a warning to victims.
Or Quebec, rather.
Posting videos of things being stolen could violate the privacy of the thieves. Yeah, I said that right. Needless to say, that message has not gone over well. It's sparking a fierce backlash on social media. Canadian police say if anyone has video evidence of a crime, it should be turned over to investigators and not posted publicly. Hello, I'm Mark.
Okay, so this is going to be a great segue into the next story. But basically, Quebec police, and I believe Ontario police have said something similar, or specifically Toronto police has said something similar in the recent, few months or half a year or something of the sorts, where criminals, their privacy is still protected or needs to be protected. So if anyone commits a crime such as porch piracy, you're not allowed, it's not recommended to post that online because they have rights, even though they've committed a crime, even though it's security footage of your home, you're not allowed to post that online, which is insane. Only in Canada would that happen. And I'm sure you've seen skits on social media, either Instagram Reels or Facebook Reels or YouTube Shorts of people reenacting what a crime looks like in Canada, or a crime scene where the cop shows up and there's like two people disputing, and the cop says to the woman, "Hey, ma'am, what happened?" And the woman turns around to the cop and says, "Did you just assume my gender?" And then the cop is in trouble, and the cop says something to the guy, and the guy says, "Did you just assume my gender?" And it's crazy what's going on here in Canada. And it's all, the skit is all good and fun until it's no longer a skit and it becomes reality. But let me know what you guys think down below about protecting porch pirates' privacy. We're going to be taking a look at why that's so important, why, Canada doubling down on protecting criminals' privacy is so important, just in a few moments here. So stick with me. I do want to touch a little bit on housing prices. In Ajax, you have a townhome has lost its value of $355,000 in 2022. On the day this townhome was listed, aggressive buyers bid a whopping $380,000 over asking. For whatever reason, the owners decided to sell. Finally, and it has gone for a loss of $355,000, which is insane. It seems like there's a lot of housing price crashes coming, and I just want to ask you guys, how do you feel about this? Because the market did take a massive tank today. And again, we're going to be looking at that later on in this video. Now I want to get into some crazier stuff that's going on here in Canada. So this video is a man in Brampton was driving 150 kilometers an hour before crashing into a fence. Looks like he has his phone out as well, recording that this is going on, which is absolutely insane. Not only a danger to himself, but all of those around him. And there he goes into the fence. So the reason why we're taking a look at these types of videos is this type of behavior is expediting here in Canada. Rowan the Stallion shared this video here on X, and this turned into a whole investigative report that actually resulted in police interference, which is crazy to think about. Highly disturbing. Individuals recklessly wave guns at a parent wedding celebration in Vancouver, specifically in Surrey, if I am not mistaken. Imagine the outrage if they were white conservatives or farmers. Let's take a look here. So you can see they're at a wedding, waving around prohibited guns. Some have drum magazines, which is obviously very illegal in Canada. And then what came into question was these rivets. So in Canada, in a magazine, you have a rivet that goes through it that blocks the ability to put more ammunition, more rounds into it, right? So there's no 30-round mags. Those are illegal here in Canada. And people looked into this and they shared it. And you're going to see some of the comments here that says, from Bratney saying, I confirm with 100% confidence that this event was yesterday in Surrey, BC. And so that's where it started. And now let's take a look at how it evolved. So then you have Bratney on X sharing this photo here. Harjit Singh Patar on the left is the guy with the guns from the earlier post in Surrey. Next to him is Hardeep Singh Najjar, which his name is circulated even in Parliament because he was murdered by international students. The middleman is unknown. And then you have the names of other people here, such as someone who's on an Interpol list, which is pretty crazy. So that's where it went. And the original video that we took a look at has over 1 million views. This post has 115,000 views. So it picked up a lot of steam. And then Britney shared this here on X. These men came to Canada during the pandemic. Here you can see Mandeep Singh using his engineering skills to shoot at people's homes. So this guy is driving very, very quickly down the road, sticks a pistol out the window and fires a random round for what seems to be absolutely no reason. And it gets even crazier. So then you have Britney sharing this photo or this video right here saying a wedding in Surrey, BC, Khalistan supporters shooting their guns in the air. Twitter, I do not condone any gun violence. Please do not ban me. And then she went and this video alone, this post got over 500,000 views and growing, and said, I'm concerned for my own safety. This has been reported to the Surrey RCMP, and the thread just goes and goes and goes. And it got so crazy that Vancouver police was tagged in the post, and Vancouver police did reply saying Surrey RCMP are now investigating this as it took place in their jurisdiction. And now the latest development is breaking. Surrey RCMP sees several firearms after video of armed partygoers circulate on social media. And in that video, if you didn't notice, there are kids, there are minors in that video where all these guns are being waved. You even have, you can see right here in the freeze frame, the finger is on the trigger, which is not safe practice. You should only put your finger on the trigger of a firearm when you're ready to shoot at something to kill it, right? Or to shoot your target at a range. So that's very unsafe practice, and it's in fact true that the RCMP did in fact go and seize some of those guns. Although they have admitted that no arrests yet potentially have been made, though investigators are working to identify those involved, which is crazy because that means that the power of social media, people sharing a video online in what seems like self-incriminating evidence, got shared so much so quickly, all within a 24-hour period, that went from the video uploaded to an article being written that the RCMP have in fact seized some of those weapons is absolutely insane, and goes to show that how did independent people, your average people, I'm not sure that any of the people that are involved in sharing these clips, these videos, putting these Twitter threads together, I'm not sure any of these people are even qualified in this type of investigation background, right? I don't know if they have an investigative background. I don't know if they've ever been qualified in private investigations or worked in this type of field, but it goes to show that through the power of social media, even here in Canada, people can come together and find and accumulate evidence and present it to the police for there to be actual actions taken. I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you agree with this outcome? Do you disagree? Let me know why. And now to finalize the video in a bit more global news type of things, we have the prisoner exchange with Russia, where Joe Biden was standing there next to the plane and he walked onto the plane. Joe Biden, president of the United States, walked onto the Russian prisoner plane after the Americans already got off. Not to inspect. He just walked on because he doesn't really know what he's doing or where he's going, which is, again, absolutely insane and aligns with how incompetent Joe Biden really is. Fox News has a business alert today saying U.S. unemployment rate has unexpectedly risen to 4.3%, which means that U.S. is in a bit of a pickle here, even more so that $2.9 trillion has been wiped out of major businesses on the stock market earlier this morning. This is the worst day for stocks since March 16th, 2020. That is absolutely insane. And then you have this post, of course, where Canada is celebrating bond yield collapses and biblical unemployment levels while cumulative inflation rips through their budgets. Seems like financially there's a bit of a reset that is happening, and I'd love to know if that is impacting you to any level. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where we're going to end this video. Love to know what you guys think down below about any of the topics that were covered. On your way out, I would like to encourage you guys to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you in the next one. Bye for now.